Hey, how's it going? So, today I'm gonna do something a little bit different. It's not really gonna focus on my day and what I did, because, like I was talking about in one of my other vlogs, the real is that some days are just boring and mundane. There is nothing quote unquote exciting to share, and that's life sometimes. Some days are just regular, degular, schmegular. There's no fun outings, there's no this, and I think that that's okay. That's called life. Some things you're doing are really cool and exciting, and other things are just everyday things. So, today's vlog, I'm actually going to talk about manifestation and just share my thoughts about it and what I've learned about what it takes, I guess, to manifest the things that you want for yourself, the life that you want for yourself, and just share like my learnings, and maybe they can be helpful for you. You can apply them to your life. Or I'm definitely a person that there's a phrase here in the States that's called take the meat and leave the bones. So you may not agree with everything I say, but there may be some things that resonate, and you can use them to impact your life however you want for yourself. So I guess what I will say, the key things that I have learned in being able to successfully manifest pretty much like all the things that I want for myself. I'm at a place now in my life where I'm actually creating new dreams for myself, because so many of the things that I have wanted to do, I have accomplished. There are still obviously some things that I haven't accomplished just yet that are in the works. They're coming to me, they're on their way to me. And there's a lot of things that I have done. And so it's a cool space to be in when you're saying, I want to create more dreams, new dreams for me to aspire to and to manifest. And what I've learned over the years about manifestation is that the biggest thing is that you have to believe that what you want exists. You have to believe it exists for you, even if you can't see it in your day-to-day life right now, even if you don't see it a week from now, even if you don't see it 2 months from now. Some of the things that I have manifested for myself came to be now, and they are things that I originally said that I wanted, let's say in my 20s, and it took some time, but the time is going to go by regardless, because when you do look up and it happened, you did get what you wanted. And so I think you have to have an unshakable faith and belief that what you want exists. And when you have that unshakable faith and belief, it then influences your decisions and your behaviors and how you go about your life, right? You may not have all of the answers, but you believe that the answers will come as you go along the path towards what you want. So I think that's the other piece. You have to have unshakable belief, and then you have to trust that the path will unfold. You have to trust that the situations, all the things that happen to get you to the thing that you want to manifest, that they are going to unfold as you go. You don't have to have all of the answers right away. I mean, you hear so many stories of people who created multi-million-dollar businesses, for example, and in the beginning they're like, I didn't know what I was doing. I just had this idea. I knew that it could really help people or be this thing, but I didn't know the first thing from that. And the path unfolded. The knowledge, the insights, the information, the learnings, they came as they continued along the journey. And I think the third thing that I have learned that is really important, and it ties into the two things I just said, is you have to have patience. Just because it doesn't happen 2 months from now, just because it doesn't happen a year from now, doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. And that's where your faith, your belief, and your belief that it's going to happen, and trusting that things are happening behind the scene that you may not be aware of are happening, that it is. And that helps the patience. And so when you're being patient for what you want to manifest, you need to have a life. You need to have other things that you are doing so that you're not watching the pot. Live your life, live full, and continue to lean into the actions, the behaviors, the values, the beliefs, the meeting different people that align you with where you want to go and where you want to be. And I know that I'm speaking like so kind of broadly and philosophically, but manifestation is really as simple as that. Believe, trust, and allow it to unfold. The patience, that is the recipe. But you have to believe. You have to believe it. You have to believe it more than anybody else believes it for you. Because people are not always going to understand what we desire, because they're not us. That's not their experience. And so if we wait for other people to believe in it, it will never unfold. Because what if they don't believe in it? Does that mean it's not possible for you? It may not be possible for them, but what does that have to do with you? So believe in yourself, believe in your dreams and the things that you want, and trust that they are on their way to you. And that even if it doesn't happen on your timeline, as long as you have that belief and you're doing things in your day-to-day life that align with what you want, it will happen. But it's going to happen in the right divine time, not our time. So on that note, stay fly, stay flourishing. Actually, there's one other thing that I want to add. And that other thing is, when it also comes to manifesting, is holding the how very lightly. Because what often happens with us is we have an idea of how we think the manifestation should go, how things are going to play out. And if we're too rigid in that, we limit ourselves and we limit what we want to manifest actually coming to us, because there may be a different or a better way than we envisioned in our head for things to play out for us to get it. For example, I remember, so I studied fashion in college and I graduated from school, and I thought immediately I was going to get a job in New York City, and basically I was going to move to New York right after I graduated. And that didn't happen. And what ended up happening is I didn't get to New York until about a year and a half later. And if I had lost faith or got frustrated because things didn't go the way I thought I would, I may not have ever ended up in New York. And when I did end up moving to New York, I realized that things had to play out the way that they did, how they did, for me to get there in a way that I think was productive. I was able to acclimate and really make a smoother transition to New York because of how things had played out. Whereas if I had been so rigid in the fact that it didn't happen right after I graduated from college, I may have given up on that dream and said, F it, I guess it's not meant for me to go to New York just because it didn't happen. It did happen a year and a half later. And I had to be open because the way it came about was completely different than what I had in my mind. It happened quickly, everything flowed, and next thing you know, I looked up and I was in New York. There was no thinking, and it was just like, boom, you're here. Your life starts in this chapter now. So don't get too attached to how it's supposed to play out that you create obstacles in your belief and your trust that it's going to happen, if that makes sense. Trust that it's just going to unfold and that it may be completely different than what you had in mind, but that's okay, because you want things to unfold the best possible way for your highest good. Now I'm done.